how we can help you improve with our suite of English qualifications. I feel extremely honored to introduce the main speaker for today's presentation, Mr. John D'Souza, the founder and director of English Advantage, which is the authorized exam center for Cambridge take us through the presentation. Mr. John?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Swaroop. Sorry. Thank you, Swaroop, for that lovely introduction. And yes, we're going to talk about Cambridge English tonight, this afternoon. I think I lost you in between. Did everybody lose Swaroop's voice, or was it just I? Did everybody lose Swaroop's voice, or was it just me?
No, even I lost him at it.
Okay. So because I only heard the last part, I heard D'Souza, so I was wondering whether he referred to me. Yeah, Swaroop, thank you very much again, and thank you everybody who has found time on a busy afternoon. I know this is the time when we all want to. We are at home and we want to go and dive into our beds and take a small nap. But yes, you've made time. I'm sure this is because you feel that it is important to be a part of something that you want to know. The hunger to find out more what is happening in the world of English as a language has never stopped. And it intrigues me and fascinates me more and more with each day when I see people coming to us asking us what we can do to improve our English language. So yes, on behalf of Cambridge and Emmanuel Training, I would like to walk you through the different suite of exams and what we can do to help you find a place for you in the world of English as a language, because we all know that without this, we are handicapped in a way. It's like one crutch which we all lean on to, especially when we are looking at presenting ourselves, selling ourselves in the market. And so I think it becomes imperative to know how we can go about this systematically, because all of us know when you are driving down the road, or you're in the countryside, or even by the railway station, or in a bus, you see so many advertisements on speak well in English, let's talk in English, come to us and we will empower you with English. There are so many of them. And with all due respect to all these advertisements and organizations, I think at the end of the day, we need to follow a systematic plan. We need to go to somebody who is backed by a body that can say, we have brought English to you in the right way. And so today I'm going to take you through that one premier organization in the world. I'm talking about the whole globe. Thankfully, we have that organization here in India, and was a part of India. I think ruled over India for a good many years till we decided that yes, even though they've left and gone, we still need to hang on to their language because it matters. It does matter. And you'll all agree with me that it matters. So I'm going to share my screen now with you and take you through a small presentation. At the end of this presentation, I'll give you enough time to ask questions. So as I'm going through my presentation, should you have any question, or should anything be of concern to you, or you want to ask about what I'm talking, please make a small note on your computers, or if you have a paper and pencil there, make a small jot of what you want to ask me, because at the end of this, I'll throw the forum open to all of you where you can ask questions and we can walk you through if we have the answers now. If not, we will write to you. We will ask you for your email address and write to you, but we'll try to meet all the answers while we are on the session this afternoon. Yep. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. So bear with me while I do that. Can you all see my screen? Yeah, Denver, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. So my first slide says welcome, and I think most slides must have this slide because, like I started a little while ago, we want to take you through something that you will be happy that you're sitting here with, and I'll try not to bore you because again we are talking about academics, right? And that can get a little tad boring sometimes. So yes, how we can help you improve with our suite of English qualifications. My name is John D'Souza, and I run an organization called the English Advantage. The English Advantage has managed to carve a niche for itself in the market of language learning here in India over the last decade or so. And we have an organization, the English Advantage, which is an authorized center of the Cambridge Assessment English. So when I say Cambridge Assessment English, I'm talking of Cambridge in UK. So we are an authorized center for Cambridge Assessment English. Now I can see that there is this that has happened on the screen, and I wonder why that has happened. Anyway. So helping people learn English and prove their skills to the world for 100+ years. Yes, Cambridge was established in 1836. It's a not-for-profit organization and a part of the University of Cambridge. So Cambridge Assessment English has been here for more than 100 years. They rolled out their first exams in 1901. And from there, when I say 1901, it was the music exam. So many people know of Trinity College London. They started with their music exams and all of that. Then we came to Cambridge, and Cambridge started its English language exams. And so, yes, we have Cambridge, which its language exams that started somewhere in 1930. Yes, 1930. Over this 1 century, we've had millions of people who have taken these exams and can say that they have been empowered with the language. Yes, Cambridge is also the joint owner of IELTS. Everybody knows of IELTS here. I'm sure most of you know why you take IELTS. It's a exam that you take when you want to show your proficiency in order to migrate to another country, right? And is a part of the Cambridge University Press. So you have the British Council, you have the Cambridge University Press, you have the English Advantage, and you have bodies like this that are authorized centers of Cambridge English. So successful English language learning, what does it require? What do you think it requires? So you can use your chat box and start typing in the chat box. What do you think in order to become successful in learning English? What do you think it requires? So I want you to become a part of this whole presentation. So everybody has a chat box at the bottom. You can click on the chat box, open your chat box, and type in what you think. So somebody says, yeah, Gayatri, you are right. Grammar and good vocabulary. Anybody else? Practice. Yes, Aishwarya, you need a lot of practice. You need a lot of practice. Anything else? Anybody? Right. So I think we'll start with motivation. To start anything in life, you need to get yourself motivated, right? Devashri, you're right as well. Kavita, too good. Yes, pronunciation, listening, love for the language. I think, yes. So that is what Ashu says, love for the language. I think, yes, all of these things go to making. Very often we choose the stream that we want to finally become. So whether I want to be a doctor or I want to become a musician, it is because of the love for that stream. So I think, yes, you're right. Conversation to be in English. Yes, Kavita, again, you are right. Conversation to be in English. So motivation is the first thing that I say. Confidence. Confidence is also something that you would require to become successful. Yes, I think this element which you can see on your screen, fun. I don't think anything can be achieved without an element of fun in it. which is why I am going to walk you through our training processes. When I say our, I'm talking about Emmanuel training. What Emmanuel training is going to bring to you, how you can get yourself to become successful in the language. So yes, an element of fun is part of their process, their system of teaching. You also have clear objectives. Without being clear about what I want to do or how I'm going to do it, there's no point in doing it. And I'm sure all of you agree with me. The right level and content. Again, if I'm going to say that you come to me and I'm going to teach you how to converse in English or how to write in English without even assessing where you are already at, I don't think I'll be making much sense. What I'm trying to say here is, if I have a candidate who is, let's say, 40 years old, and he comes to me with very basic skills in English and needs to, enhance his skill. So, for example, I had somebody who was working, who had come in from the state of Uttarakhand, and he wanted to, he was working as a carpenter, and he wanted to speak in English. He was already a good 40 plus. Now, just because he's 40 plus, I can't start teaching him like an adult. I would have to start with the basic level. So having the right level and the right content to be able to give him in order to become proficient in English is something that Emmanuel training is always worried about. They're always taking that into consideration. Are we at the right level for this candidate? Is this content good enough for this candidate to be able to improve in the language? And I think, yes, like somebody said here, practice. After being motivated, after throwing in the fun element, after having the right level, the correct content, establishing the objective, building the confidence, I think what comes next is practice. So without practice, you will not get anywhere. And we all know that. So even if you want, they said doctors practice, musicians practice. Why do you think we use the word practice? Because as you practice, as you keep repeating yourself, as you keep doing it over and over again, I think that's when you will become successful. So Cambridge English in preparation for workplaces. I'm going to talk about Cambridge at the workplace and Cambridge not at the workplace. So could be in school or for young learners. So this is a picture I have here for Cambridge at the workplace. What kind of skills or what preparation would people require to do in the language in order to be able to be sitting at a table like this at the workplace? So what kind of preparation would you require to do while you are graduating or when you are at the workplace? Can you give me your answers? Can you tell me what you think would be necessary at the workplace? Planning. Yes, Kavita, planning. Very good. Anybody else? Spoken skills. Yes, I think you can see from that picture. They are talking to each other. They are dialoguing with each other. They are trying to find something, or maybe just having a chit chat. Thinking in English. Gayatri, yes, we must, in order to speak in English, you've got to think in English, right? Very often what happens is we think in our native language and talk. So I can see in my chat box, Gayatri Zende has written thinking in English. So when you say thinking in English, I think that it is imperative that we think in the language that we are speaking and then talk. I'll give you a very simple, a very small example why I'm saying this. You know, in the last month, I think a month and a half from now, and I keep using this example ever since this incident has occurred. I was at the D-Mart. So many of you are familiar with the D-Mart stores. I was at D-Mart and I had gone to buy stuff for the house. And I was looking for the shampoo and I asked the assistant there, where is the shampoo? And you know what she said? Sir, it's in the backside. Now, at once I knew that this is thinking in the native language, and I further understood that she was a Maharashtrian. So we know that Patcha Bazula means at the back. But what she chose to say was at the backside. This is a literal translation. Daya baju becomes right side, left side in English. Now, niche kyun baithe ho? Table pe baitho. Sit on the table. Literal translation of the language. So we're thinking in the native language, translating and talking. So Gayatri, I'll give it to you here because you said we were to think in English and talk. Because we all know if you open the dictionary, what the meaning of the word backside is. It's nothing but my butt. So yeah, so are we really using the language rightly? So thinking in English. Yuk Sangvi says coding. And so I think that's going to the technical level of the language. And we'll come to that in a bit, Yuk. Then point-wise elaboration of points. Devashri. Thank you everybody for giving me your thoughts because you're all so good when and right in what you are expressing in the chat box. Right, in order to really prepare at the workplace, understand and take notes at meetings and teleconferences. So am I able to understand what the speaker is saying? Am I able to take notes while the speaker is speaking in English? I think that would make a lot of difference to the way I conduct myself at my office, at my workplace. Then develop conversation skills and social skills for interaction. So when I say social skills, we're talking about English language. Where does social skills come in this? I think when I say social skills, I mean, can we make a chit chat? So I'm at the elevator at the bottom waiting to go to my office, which is on the 5th or the 6th floor. I meet friends at the elevator. Can I start a chit chat? Or at the coffee machine in the office? Do we have social skills for just day-to-day conversations? No, being able to interact with my colleagues. Can I interact? Sometimes we have to interact with people from other countries when they come to visit us at the workplace, or even if I'm speaking to them over the phone, I might want to start at a time like today when everybody is working from home. You might have a counterpart of your organization in another country. The first thing you would say is, pray all is well with you there. I hope you are at home and safe. I think, can we make these conversations, these simple conversations in English before we start our work? So social interaction, deliver presentations and take part in discussion. Can I make a presentation with confidence? If you remember, if you go back to my slide before, you might have heard of how I spoke about confidence. Do I have the confidence to stand in front of all my colleagues or even people who have come in to listen to what we want to present, or you want to present it to maybe an advertising agency or to somebody else? Do I have the confidence to stand there and make a presentation? Can I take part in the Q&A session after that? Can I dialogue with the people? And all this in English, right? So can we do all this? Is what we need to worry about. Read and write reports. So you're going to do a lot of report writing when you're at the workplace. Can we do that? And all this in English. Write emails. I think that's the order of the day. Everybody is writing emails today because we're not interacting with anybody face to face. It's almost a year now and we're stuck at home. All that we can do is get onto a platform like Zoom or Google Chat, or if you cannot do that, we're writing mails to each other. And then for my last tip here, understand when and how to use both formal and informal language. So we're talking about the register. Very often we find that when you're writing emails, we're not using the right register. When I say register, am I using the correct tone in writing? Am I using the correct tone while speaking? So when I'm talking to my colleagues, am I speaking in English? I'm supposed to be talking to my seniors. Am I using the right tone of voice? Am I using the correct register in addressing my seniors or even my juniors? If I'm talking about work, I'm making a presentation, we all know we're supposed to be using the formal language there. But when to use the formal language, when to use the informal language? I think all of this, what you see in these ochre boxes on my screen, are what goes to make somebody really confident in conducting his business sense, his business life. working at an office in a corporate setup and being able to stand there with confidence and say, I own my chair. Am I able to reach out to everybody, understand, empathize with what my people are saying? Can I understand what they are trying to tell me? So it's a two-way process, not just speaking, but even receiving information, analyzing, breaking that information down, understanding, and then being able to empathize or come up with solutions, right? So that's for the workplace. Let's go to English for preparation at higher education. So many of you here today, I can see some very nice photographs in the IDs that are here, and I know some of you are college students. Yes. So some of you are college students and preparing for higher education. Denver, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Why is it that I got some interference on my screen?
Somebody annotated.
Yeah, but why would somebody want to annotate on my screen? I mean, this has been a little distracting for me for some time now, and I know the person who's doing this annotation. So please refrain from annotating on my screen while I am making the presentation. Right? I don't want to take names, but it can be pretty disturbing when I'm in the middle of something. Please refrain. I know it could have happened accidentally. I do hope it won't continue. Yes, coming back to what I was saying, Cambridge English in preparation for higher education. Now we spoke about the workplace. This is what I have for you at the higher education. Now you will notice that it is not different from what is at the workplace. All you might see is while you were writing emails at the office, here you were writing essays, developing arguments, structuring ideas, or even making presentations. So while you are making presentations at the workplace, here you are at college, or maybe it's at a senior level and studying, and you still need to make presentations. You need to argue a point. You need to get into your vivas. You need to develop conversation. You need to show the skill of being able to understand a question when you're answering it in an oral examination or a written examination. Showing understanding of a question and being able to write it in the right way. That is what we are talking about in preparing for higher education. Now, let me go to my next slide. Where do we go to achieve this? Where would you go? Everybody, so you understood, and you also know, I saw in the chat box, there were so many replies. You all are already aware of what we need to do when we are at the workplace, when we are at higher education, or even when I'm at a party. How to speak in English. Where do I go to achieve this? I would say that we must look at somebody that is certified, that is backed by a number of years of experience, that somebody who is reliable, who's fair in their approach. And I can't think of anybody, not because I work with Cambridge Assessment English, but because I am a part of Cambridge Assessment English and I believe in Cambridge Assessment English, which is the premier organization, the premier institute in the world in delivering skills. Now, when I say Cambridge Assessment English, many of you will say, how do I get to Cambridge Assessment English? If you will look at the left-hand corner on your screen, you can see that logo there, which is a very loud ENT telling you you are at the right place. Emmanuel Training in Pune. So Emmanuel Training is now a preparatory center for Cambridge Assessment English. When I say preparatory center, they are licensed by Cambridge to be able to deliver language, to be able to teach candidates from all ages. So whether the candidate is 3 years old or the candidate is 93 years old. Emmanuel Training has now been assessed, and Cambridge feels that they have the right content, they have the right approach, they are systematic in their plan. And so Cambridge is happy to say that Emmanuel Training, come be a part of us. Emmanuel Training, we are going to lean on you to be able to bring candidates to be able to take our English exams. You have shown us that you have the correct approach. You have shown us that you have the right content. After all of this, Cambridge Assessment English has licensed Emmanuel Training to be able to reach out to people not only in Pune, but in all the districts that are neighboring Pune and across India as well. So Emmanuel Training is going to be spreading its wings, trying to cover up as many people as they can to be able to teach, prepare, take you to the exams, and then certify you with the qualification that you are empowered with the correct skills in English. So what I'm saying, teach, take you to the exam and certify. Is it necessary to take an exam? Do I need to be certified? Let's find out. Let's find out. So why do I need to choose then Cambridge English? Because I think it is an investment in your future. And so I thought of many lines, and then Emmanuel Training and people from Emmanuel, Dr. Noel Parge, Swaroop Gaikwad, we all sat and we put our heads together, and we came up with this wonderful line: invest in your future. We put so much money down when it comes to financial security. We put a lot of money when it comes to food for the stomach. What about food for the brain? So I think it is an investment in your future, not in terms of money, but in terms of time, your energy, your availability. All of this you're investing in. I think you're giving a big chunk of your time. Some of you have already graduated, some of you are working, some of you are somewhere midway in school, some of you have just got out of primary school. You said, we've studied in English all along, John. Why do we need to invest now? What have we done all these years? Some of you will agree with me that yes, it is time to look at English as a language, because all we did at school was English as a subject. So I would like to clarify here. I've seen so many people when I walk in and out of these engineering colleges, and this is just one example I'm giving you. So we have an engineering college, which is an autonomous college here in Mumbai. It's the VJTI. And sadly, very sadly, it's very appalling, because when I walked into those corridors, I look at those candidates who are very, very technically qualified. So you all know that to get into an engineering college, you need to have somewhere way over 85 or 90%. And you cannot get your 90+ percentages without having an 85 or 90% in English. So that means a candidate or a student who has joined VJTI or any engineering college or any college for medicine has secured more than 90 marks in English. And yet, what appalls me is that this candidate cannot make a simple presentation. It is so difficult for someone to string two lines together. And that is when my heart hurts. Because I know technically on the globe, India has made its mark. Every person here is so exemplified, and I think built with skills, gifted with skills, and so talented. Yet, why do we need to why do we need to fall one step behind when it comes to opening our mouths to speak? And yet that is the case with an alarming rate of number of students that I have walked into colleges at. And I'm not talking just about the VJTI in Mumbai. I'm talking of colleges in Hyderabad, colleges in Bangalore, colleges in Pune, where we teach. And so I think, yes, it's an investment in your future, right? It prepares you for life after school with language skills. It gives you a certificate at the end. So what is this certificate all about? We'll talk about this certificate and proficiency in the next slide or the slide after that. Then it's an external evidence of your success in language learning. So when I say external evidence, the minute you open your mouth to speak, people know that you have it. You are gifted. You can carry yourself. So access opportunities at home and abroad. I think that's what we are doing today, sitting at home and working. And we are trying to find ways to grow, ways and means to grow. We're also looking at studying in foreign universities. If I take this exam, I know I have carved a place for myself. We all know that in order to go to study in a foreign country today, or to find even to get even a PR, more than 163 countries in the world say you must have a proficiency in English. So how do you find what your proficiency is? That is when you find people scampering to get degrees or certified for proficiency through IELTS or maybe Cambridge Assessment English. Some people go to Pearson's and some people go to Macmillan. But let me tell you, the Cambridge Assessment English proficiency is accepted in more than 163 countries of the world. And finally, there is a lot of support available. So I just told you about how Emmanuel Training has developed a content to be able to teach children who are candidates who are children or candidates who are adults at any level. They have the content with them. Apart from this, there is a lot of support on how you can prepare for these exams or prepare to improve or enhance your English language skills. And that is available on the Cambridge English website. Now, how to navigate through that website and how to choose what I need to do and not just go through all the resources that are available. Emmanuel Training finds out what your level is and what you might want to access on the website. So even there, you're going to have support from Emmanuel Training. So even though there is so much of resource material put out on the Cambridge English website to help you, Emmanuel Training is going to guide you on how to access that information. This takes me to my next slide. English at Work survey. I think I could very well skip this slide, but I'll go through it very fast. We have Natsuki Segawa, who's a manager at Ito2, and he says that, I'm going to read what he says. The English language requirements of our staff can only increase in the next 10 years because our business will depend more and more on global businesses. He's talking about how global business is going to help their economy go up, how they can push the GDP of the country up. But for that, you will need English language. So 50% of the employers that after the survey by Cambridge we found out that 50% of the employers want candidates who are good with their English skills, and they offer them better starting packages. There are employees who say that we can climb up rung after rung of the ladder and faster because we have the skills in English. There is the center exams manager in Brazil. We have one CEM here who I'm going to introduce in a short while. And she is also a preparatory center, the CEM of a preparatory center in Pune. And she will tell you of what she has understood as being a part of Cambridge. We'll come to that a little later. But here on my screen now you see this CEM from Brazil says, I like the exam because it provides an international standard. So we're not just talking about English, but it's a standard which is recognized internationally, right? So when I say internationally recognized, more than 20,000 organizations trust Cambridge. What are these 20,000 organizations? 11,000 plus higher and further education, 6,000 corporate users. Can you imagine 6,000 plus corporate users? And then you have government ministries and organizations. I'd like to tell you that we have recently been approached by the government of Karnataka to see if we can do something for their for the local body, for the schools there that are run by the government. Can you imagine, even the Karnataka government has decided that Cambridge needs to step into their local schools to be able to empower their students. So we are not going to other countries and very far from where we are, but right in our homeland, we've got our own government organization. So you have the PMC, the Pune Municipal Corporation, which also thinks that is on the verge of coming to us to ask us of how we can help them to help their children at school. So you see, it is, when I say internationally recognized, yes, it is internationally recognized, but more so in our country. Because like I said a little while ago, technically, I think nobody can touch the Indians. It is just this one skill that we find is like a crutch that we are looking for. Which brings me to the CEFR, the Common European Framework for Reference. So what is the CEFR? So I was telling you a little while ago, I said I'll come in 2 or 3 slides to this, that proficiency. So how proficient am I? So when I see the answers you've given me, you tell me that you are at a very high proficiency level because you've understood the question and you've been able to give me the answers in the right way. Your spellings were correct. You gave me the correct answers. So you will see on my screen, you have from A1 at the bottom right up to C2. And so you will notice that from A1 to A2 is the basic level, then you have the intermediate level, and then you have the proficient level. We call the intermediate level the independent level. So what is the CFR? I want you to listen to this video that I have put here on the screen for you.
As a language learner or teacher, you may have heard of Common European Framework of Reference, or CEFR. But what is it, and why does it matter for English language learners? It's actually pretty simple. Different learners have different levels of language ability, but opinions about your English level can be subjective. Your friends may think your English is good, but an employer might think it is not good enough, and you may be better at some skills than others. For example, you may be able to read better than you can speak. We need a clear, objective way to describe language skills that everyone can agree on. This is what the CEFR provides. The CEFR breaks down language learning into 6 levels, which it calls A1 to C2. The starting point, A1, describes a very basic language level. As a learner, you can move up the levels until you reach proficiency, C2 level. This is a really advanced level. By describing what you can do in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, the CEFR will tell you where you are on the journey from beginner, A1, through to proficiency, C2. There are many Cambridge English exams available for different ages and stages of learning, all matched to CEFR levels, from young learners through to university and the workplace, or simply for travel. The CEFR was developed by the Council of Europe with extensive support from University of Cambridge ESOL examinations. People from all over the world use the CEFR to explain what level of English they are at and what level of English they need. It is used by learners, teachers, universities, governments, and employers. The CEFR has been very influential, and not only in Europe. It's been published in more than 35 languages, and descriptions of individual languages have also been developed. Cambridge is a partner in the English Profile Programme, which provides very useful descriptions of English grammar and vocabulary at each level of the CEFR. Understanding your language level will help you to achieve your goal, whether it's going on holiday abroad, studying at school or university, or getting a job. And that's why the CEFR levels are useful for everyone.
So yes, did you all enjoy that video? Could everybody hear that? Okay, so when I talk about the 4 skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, we all know that we can read, we can write, we can listen, but when it comes to speaking, now, when we talk about speaking, this is what our whole program was devised for in the beginning. We talked about pronunciation. We talked about how to say what I want to say, whether I'm saying it in the right way. So I'm not just talking about saying to express meaning, but whether I'm pronouncing my words rightly. Now, how many of us know that when we talk about English, it's not always the spelling, but how we are using that spelling that we can arrive at the right pronunciation. What I'm trying to say here is the language, the English language is made up of one alphabet, which has 26 letters and 44 sounds. We must understand that in order to understand English, it is not just the 26 letters, but there are 44 sounds as well. So these sound symbols plus these letters put together help us to make words. These words, when strung together, help us to frame sentences. Now, if you are not pronouncing the word correctly, that could be an area that it could become an area of concern. For example, content. If you've heard me, I've been saying Emmanuel training has the right content and not content. So you see the spelling is the same, content and content, but the meaning is different. So when I say content, I mean I'm happy, I'm satisfied. But when I say content, I mean the substance of what goes into making what I'm talking about. So the contents of a bottle or the contents of a jam bottle will be the jam inside the bottle, right? The contents of the language would be what we have put in terms of grammar, in terms of the lexical requirement, in terms of phonology, so pronunciation, the rise and fall in your voice. Are we doing this correctly? So do we have the correct pronunciation? Very often we just, so SACHET becomes sachet and not sachet. So how does it become sachet? So if BO is do, why is GO go? What is the difference between the U and the O sound, even though it's spelled in the same way? And so we have to understand the 44 sounds. And that is one area where when you come to Emmanuel training, you will get extensive exposure to understanding how you can read a word through the phonemic script. When I say the phonemic script, I'm talking of the 44 sounds. So do I understand these sound symbols in order? TOR, TOISE. Many of us know it is tortoise and not tortoise. Yet you will find people saying tortoise instead of tortoise. Are we really pronouncing the words? What difference does it make? I can say tortoise and yet communicate. Yes, in the general day-to-day conversation, as long as I've communicated, it is okay. But would that work in a language exam? I'm sorry, no, it wouldn't. So do I have the correct pronunciation? Many of us feel that we do. Some of us feel that I want to know how to pronounce words in the right way. Where do I go? And this is where you must know that you have a very certified body in your vicinity called Emmanuel Training, who's going to take you through, walk you through understanding the pronunciation of a word through the phonemic script, how to pronounce. Very often we open the dictionary only to find meanings. Have you looked just below the word in the dictionary, how to pronounce the word? So is it develop or develop? How do I know how to break the syllable? It's all there in the dictionary, and you will be taught how to use the dictionary, how to understand the pronunciation, how to understand the break in the word. When I say break in the word, I'm talking about syllables, where to break my syllables in order. So you've heard me say preparatory center, not preparatory center. So why are you saying preparatory instead of preparatory? There is a way in which to find out the correct pronunciation, and this pronunciation is going to be taught to you by the Emmanuel Training organization. So it becomes imperative to understand pronunciation. Then what's the difference between British English and American English? I think there's a very thin line, yet there are words that have become American English. So is cookies American or cookies British? So is it cookies or biscuits? Some people say slippers and some people say flip-flops. So where is the correct? What do I need to use? How do I know what is the right word, what to choose? All of this and more will be given to you by Emmanuel Training. And like I said earlier, Emmanuel Training is now certified by Cambridge, which means Cambridge puts their trust in Emmanuel Training to be able to understand and teach you what you need to learn. So when you come to Emmanuel Training, you will understand how to go about pronunciation in a very, very deep way. The correct pronunciation is what I'm talking about here. Because if you are not pronouncing your words correctly, you might be giving the wrong meaning. Like I said, content versus content. The meanings are different. W-O-U-N-D, wound or wound. You'll have to find out in context. So can we put that in the correct context and pronounce the word in the correct way? That would become important, right? So when we are talking about pronunciation, how to go about pronunciation, you must understand that language is made up of grammar, lexis, and phonology. We all know what grammar is, the 9 forms and the extended forms of grammar, all the tenses, all of that put together is the grammatical use. Can we take that grammar out of the classroom? This is when I say about our engineering students, 90 plus in school, yet you will find grammatically wrong. And then again, we can string this together with what one of you have said on the chat, in the chat box, thinking in English. So grammar would be मैं गया, मैं नहीं गया. So I went, I didn't went. Literal translation, and see the grammar in English is I didn't go, not I didn't went. But where does this come from? Because me gelo, me nahi gelo. So gelo and gelo. So went and went. I went, I didn't went. And this is where Emmanuel training comes in and is going to give you a very systemized approach of how to find out when do I need to change my tense, how to change it, what is the correct usage, when do I have to stop thinking in my native tongue. So you see, all of this has some direct or indirect relation, whether it is pronunciation, whether it's the regional tongue influence, or whether it is the grammar. All of this must be tied together in order to give you the correct language. And I'm sure you all agree with me. And so I was talking about getting certified. So if you look at A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, after you have achieved the correct pronunciation, the correct grammar, the correct lexical range, and you are able to understand, read, and write, you will take an exam from Cambridge. At the end, you will get certified. So if you've taken a language exam at the movers level, so you'll be around 7 years old to take a movers level, or you might be an adult who's taking a C1 advanced exam. Now the C1 advanced is an exam that most candidates take in order to study abroad or to go to work in another country. This is a qualification. Let me tell you, your certificate comes with a qualification, which means in your educational qualification, you can write there C1 of the Cambridge University, UK. You get qualified when you take the exam. Now you see what I mean by invest in your future. You're getting a qualification from an international body. The certificate will come to you directly from Cambridge. This is what most organizations, I said 20,000 plus organizations across the globe are looking for. Do you have a qualification in English language? And this is when taking an exam at Cambridge English becomes important, and you can show. So just being able, there are many people who are very good in English. Those who have taken the exam say, I can prove that I am good in English. So not just good in English, but I have proof of that. And that is your certificate, which is a qualification. So we have a step-by-step progression. It starts from the A1 level. And so you have the young learners, we call them the young learners, the starters, movers, and flyers. This is how the certificate looks, which comes from Cambridge. These are only samples, but these are the certificates for the young learners, which comes all the way from Cambridge. Then you go to the A2, B1, and B2 levels, which are the independent users. So some universities in New Zealand and in the UK also accept the B2 for study, but most ask, this is how the these are how the certificates look. And then most universities, if you're going for further studies at the graduate level, will ask for a C1 advanced exam. So C1 is, some of you might have taken the IELTS exam, is like having a band 7.5 and above in English. The C2 is usually taken by those people who want to become teachers or who want to further pursue their love for the language in English and want to become proficient in English. So that is the C2 level. Right? And these are how the certificates look. This is an example of the certificate of a student who has taken an exam in the C1 advanced. Then you have the business English exam. We call it the BEC. business English exams from Cambridge. So business English certificates would be called the Beck certificate. Many people have may know here that there's something called Beck in the market, and that is the Cambridge English business English certificate. They start at the B1 level and go to the C1 level. Now you will wonder why there is no A1 and 2. It's business English, which means you're already at the corporate level and you have sufficient level of understanding and knowledge in English. You would definitely start at a B1 level. These are how the certificates look for business English. It's almost like the other certificates, only here it is mentioned that you have qualified yourself in business English, right? Apart from all of this, for teachers, we have something called TKT, the Teaching Knowledge Test. There are 3 modules here, which you need to, it's a pen and paper test. You study from a book and then you go and you take an exam for 3 modules and get certified by Cambridge. This is for teachers, the Teaching Knowledge Test. Okay, here are some other this that I have put out, statements from people all across the globe who say what C1 has done for them. So taking C1 Advanced is a fantastic learning process. Cambridge exams are really complete and prepare you perfectly for studying, working and living in English. The first one from the Czech Republic, it says C1 Advanced can help you to achieve your goals in life. It can unlock the door to your future career. Yes, and I'm sure all of you who will now think of embarking on this journey of learning English as a language and take these exams will have your statements here in the near future. Yes, which brings me to my last slide for today. Any questions? So this is where I'm going to throw the forum open to you and I'm going to allow you to ask your questions. But before we do this, we have with us on this panel, Mrs. Rita Katawati, who is the principal of the Hutchings School in Pune. Now, the Hutchings School is for the 3rd year running, taking the Cambridge English exams. All the students here at the school prepare for Cambridge English. And Mrs. Katawati, as the head of the organization, has been monitoring, like the center exams manager, and walking with the students through this program and understanding. And year after year, we have parents who have backed her and are very happy that their students are taking these exams. So Mrs. Katawati, can I request you to say a few words here to all our participants on this program?
Yes, thank you, John, and good evening to everybody here. Well, it was 3 years back that when I realized that, as John said, we had English as the main subject, but it was not found outside the classrooms. And that is when John came in the picture with Cambridge, and then we realized that the 4 skills are very important for a child to master this language. And it begins with listening, then speaking, and reading and writing. And Cambridge makes it very clear that the number of students should not exceed 20. And that is a very good number to have interaction with the students. So our teachers are doing a very good job. Our children have moved to the next level of language. Now I'm confident that they can go anywhere in the world and face the world confidently when it comes to expressing themselves. So I was wondering how, I wished that it could reach out to all students. And I was glad that Emmanuel Training took up this challenge, has taken up this challenge and has come up with this platform. And that is why I am here to say that, yes, it has made a difference to our children and is definitely needed at this hour. So thank you, John, for this wonderful way of explaining to all of us. Thank you so much. We can't hear you, John.
I will vouch for whatever Mrs. Katawati just said and second every word that she said, because we walked through this whole program together the last 3 years and we've seen children evolve and emerge as more confident speakers. Parents can very openly testify and come up and tell us that Their children are now ready to stand on stage and take part in an elocution. They are ready to stand in a debate and debate with their colleagues or their fellow pupils. Is that possible for my child? Is that possible for me as a candidate? Is that possible? Is it okay for me to stand up and confidently say that I have it with me in English? Right? So we've seen that happen at the Hutching schools, and not just one school. I'm so happy that Mrs. Katawati is here with us today to share with all of us. But yes, what I'm telling you is not just about one school, but a number of schools that we have been training at. And Emmanuel Training has been able to bring this to all of us in such a big way. So I'm looking to see how many more people here who are present on this program today can go out and spread the word. Come to us, tell us how we can be able to reach out to you. So yes, I'm going to take your questions now. And the first question that I've received: at what age can kids start giving these exams? Right. So Gayatri, I want what is that? Yeah. Say what age, but I'll say a young learner. So if, since you're asking me about age, let's say somebody who's at the age of 4 or 5. So it would depend on the region that we are talking. So if you come to Mumbai, I think a young learner at 4 and a half is ready to get into studying at the young learners level. But yet there would be another area where I would say you have to wait till 5 years, because we're talking about 4 skills: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So we need to develop skills in listening as well. So yes, 4 and a half, 5 years is when we can start with the children. Anybody else? Yes, I got another question here. No, that's the only question. Anybody else has anything to ask us? You're welcome, Gayatri. So yes, 5 years. I think some of the questions that are burning at the moment is what is the cost for the training, or what is the cost of taking these exams? Yeah, and that brings me to taking an exam or giving an exam. You don't give an exam, you only take an exam. Yeah, is there a admission process, and what's the duration? Yes, there is an admission process. So now that you have come to this program and understood what all this is about, Emmanuel Training will be coming to you back and telling you what the training fee is all about. So there is a designed course. So if you're taking at the young learners, it's something from 26 hours to 28 hours for a level. Now, when I say 26 hours, we don't mean in 26 days, because you can't study this. It's English as a language. And so you need time to practice. And so it could be once or twice a week for an hour and a half per session. So that would mean about 3 hours a week. So when I say 26 hours, it could plainly go up to 4 months, because if we have decided it's on a Tuesday and a Thursday could be a bank holiday or could be a public holiday, and you may not be able to have classes, but we will see that you will have your 26 to 28 hours, whatever is designed for the level you are at. Now, the adult learners who might be taking the C1 advanced, it could range anything from 36 to 40 hours. We don't say we are going to do. At Emmanuel Training, it is not like this, that it's a 36-hour course. And so you pay for 36 hours, 36, khatam, jao baba, your exam, come and take your exam. Whether you pass or fail is not our lookout. You pay the exam, the tuition fee for the training, you pay the exam fee, we'll register you, you take the exams. No, it doesn't work like that. So when we say 36 hours, sometimes we feel that a candidate needs to be handheld for some more time. And so we might even advise the candidate to come in for more training sessions, work for some more time with us, and be prepared to take the exams, because our trainers at Emmanuel Training are all qualified trainers. They all come with sufficient background and knowledge of how to teach English as a language, and not just teach English, which what happens at school. So I'm talking of teaching English as a language. So we look at the way the candidate conducts his lifestyle, the way the candidate is ready to understand English as a language. After doing all of that, then we decide the length of the course. So standard would be 36 hours, but it could go up to 40, 42 hours. There are candidates who are exceptionally bright and can finish in 32 hours. So they get 4 hours more of practice session. But we don't say 36 means 36 hours. Yes, it is designed for 36 hours. But if there's a candidate who wants more hours, then we will give you more hours. Now, for a teacher, is there an admission process? Yes, there is an admission process. Now, teacher it would depend whether she wants to become more proficient in the language or she wants to have qualifications with TKT, the teaching knowledge test. How to teach English as a language or how to teach in a classroom. That's why they call it TKT, the teaching knowledge test. I said 3 modules. So yes, there is an exam fee. You can take all 3 modules at one go, or you can take one module at a time. For the proficiency, that is from the A1 to the C2, again, it would depend on which level you are at. We will assess you. So when you come to Emmanuel training, we first run you through a small test. We see the level you are at. We have a small tete-a-tete with you, a chat with you. It's a kind of an interview, but we don't call it an interview because it's a very social interaction based on the kind of answers you give us, not what you are answering, but how you are answering. We decide the level you are at. And then we decide what is the duration of the course you require. So may I ask you what qualifications you have under your belt? Okay, somebody from OnePlus Nord has asked me what qualifications I have under my belt. So I'm going to have to remove my belt to find out what qualification. Now I'll tell you this. I have a postgraduate degree in English language teaching. So that is teaching English as a language from a university in India. And I have the highest degree in TESOL, that is the diploma in TESOL from the Trinity College London in collaboration with Oxford University. So I have a qualification that says I can train, I can teach, I can prepare curriculum. It is the highest qualification in teaching. So that's why when you started this presentation, you must have seen my name. It came as, it's flashed John D'Souza LTCL. That's the license from the Trinity College of London. It was something that I went after 20 years ago. So since you've asked me the question, I might want to share this with you. I've spent 22 years in the State Bank of India, which is when I used to teach English. But this passion for teaching in English is what made me decide to give up a very lucrative career and pursue a career in teaching English. And so I started studying, and right up to the age of 55, I was still studying and teaching. But yes, I have managed to get the qualification for the diploma from the Trinity College in London. So you have the Delta, you have CELTA and Delta, or the CERT TESOL and DIP TESOL. The CERT and the DIP are doled out by Trinity College London, CELTA and Delta by Cambridge University. Now you will ask me, so why did you not take the Cambridge exam? When you're speaking so highly about Cambridge, why did you take the Trinity exam? Unfortunately, at CELTA and Delta, you don't have the phonology paper. But at with the CERT and the DIP, the diploma in TESOL from Trinity, you have the phonology paper as well. And I wanted that paper too. And so I have all the 4 modules covered there. And so I went and I took the diploma. So yes, to answer your question, I have a diploma in TESOL from the Trinity College in London. Any other questions you have here? So what are we going to teach you? We will teach you reading, writing, speaking, and listening, all the 4 skills. How are we going to teach you this? Through the 3 tools of the English language: grammar, lexis, and phonology. So every lesson is going to be designed with 2 skills. We're going to marry 2 skills, a receptive skill and a productive skill. So what's a receptive skill? It could be an intake, something that you receive. So it could be by way of reading and receiving information, or listening and receiving information. And then the output would be writing or speaking. So in every lesson, there is a good amount of time that is dedicated to understanding whether the objective of the lesson was met with or not. So our lessons are designed to find out at that very lesson whether the aim of the lesson was achieved. So the student or the candidate in the classroom is given ample opportunity to be able to use the skills or to use what he has understood in the classroom. So the teacher knows that she or he can go to the next lesson, right? Any other questions here? Okay, I'm sure after this program, you might have some questions. You might want to write to us at Cambridge English, at Emmanuel Training. I'm sure Swarup sir is going to type out his email address here, or the company's email address, where you could post your questions. Swarup, may I request you to put your email address if anybody has any questions to write to you in the chat box, or maybe even a WhatsApp number?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Yeah, Swarup, before you come in, you could also go to the emmanueltraining.com website. There's a chat button there. You could click on the chat button on that website and you could ask your questions. And Swarup sir from Emmanuel Training will be more than happy to be able. Gitanjali ma'am, you want my email ID, or you want, yes, you would like to get more information, Kavita, yes. You could write to us at emmanueltraining.com. Swarup sir is going to put out his email address. Like I said, yes, it's already up there. So all of you who want to write to us, you can write to us at contact@emmanueltech-tech.com, and we'll be more than happy to give you the information you're seeking. Yes, I'm looking to see how many of us here can walk this together, because I am raring to go. There's a contact number there, 7000-428-558. You could also call on that number. It's a WhatsApp number. No, that's Smita's number, I think, right? Yes, it's Smita's number, and you can write to Smita and she'll be able. You've got the website address now, www.emmanueltraining.com. You could write to us. There's a chat button there. We'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. So on that note, I do hope I have managed to be able to get across from this side of the table to come to you in your homes at a time when we have no choice but to sit in the confines of our homes and listen to presentations. I would be very happy to come to come to Pune. I'm sitting in Mumbai right now. Come to Pune and sit with you personally and have a chat and discuss with you more on what we can do together. But yes, we are all tired. Unfortunately, we are in unprecedented times, but like all things, too shall pass, and we'll soon meet on common ground. Yes, till then, thank you very much. Thank you, Swarup sir. Thank you, Dr. Noel, for giving me this opportunity to speak here on this platform. Thank you, Kavita, and thank you everybody, Gitanjali ma'am, and everybody who is here, Siddhi and Ashu, and everybody who has joined this program, Snehal too, yes, Supriya and Devashri. So Emmanuel, I'm going to give the mic to you now, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. John Shaw, for sharing with us and giving us a lot of insights. I would just take this time to share with you the emmanueltraining.com website, and a lot of information is available on the website. I'll just have a quick walkthrough for all our participants. Here is our website, emmanueltraining.com, and we have displayed all the courses that we are offering, as Mr. John spoke about, starting with the pre-A1 starters level up to the IELTS level. You can browse through this website and have every bit of detailed information. If you just click on the course, you can go to the course level and read through all the information that is given in detail, and all the 4 skills, reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills information is also available for you on the website. Along with that, we also provide information on the course fee, the course duration, and also the information that is authentic from the Cambridge website is available here. We have the classes also mentioned, what course is available for what class. You can enroll your child, your students, your candidates for various classes, and in detailed information is given here. You can also have a chat with our representative. You can always put in your questions to have more information, and we will see, we get back to you with the information that you need. So this is just a sample class. I've shown you the pre-A1 starters. You can just go and click on the courses button here, and all the courses will appear at the school and college level courses, as well as the courses that need for you to study and work abroad. Information about the benefit of Cambridge Assessment English, as Mr. John shared, is also available on this page. You can study this, you can go through it again and look at the vast benefits that you have. on this page. We have our representative's number and the contact information, the contact email, you can write to us. The student registration form is here. Those who would like to enroll their child for this courses, you can just go to the Emmanuel Training student registration page. You can start filling the details and you can make online payment by registering for a particular course. If you go down, you have the education qualification, your child is studying, the course that you want to take, and the duration is also mentioned. We have two slots for the course duration. One is the first month, 1 month course, and the 6 months course. Okay. So we would request you to fill in this form for your child, for your student, for your candidate, and you can enroll by paying online and we will get in touch with you. Those who want to become trainers with us, those are qualified, you think you are qualified, you can teach. There's a become a trainer form. You can fill this form and we will get in touch with you. Site emmanueltraining.com. Please take your time, visit this website. Make sure that you go through every bit of information. If you have any doubts, confusion, any questions to be answered, clarifications needed, you can please contact us and we will get back to you.